Hey everybody, Krista Kitsune here, and welcome back, or not really welcome back, welcome again to the Oregon Trail. I played this game a while ago on my channel. We did it in two parts, and we traveled the trail. We got to the end. We got to Willamette Valley. You're going from Independence, Missouri to the Willamette Valley in Oregon, but there are some things that can happen. Most of your party can die, and then you're stopped at midway through. But we're just going to travel the trail. We're going to start a new game. We're going to be just Kitsune, because last time I was Crystal Kitsune or Crystal Kit, so I'm going to be Kitsune. I'm going to be okay, I think last time we chose banker or something, or maybe doctor, but banker gives you the most money. Teacher gives you the less money. So this is like ranked from like highest paid to lowest paid. So if you were a banker, then you get like $1,600 essentially, I think. I really wish that I could actually find like Oregon Trail 2 that's actually an actual working version, because it's so much more like realistic. Like everything on this game is pixelated, so it's like, I'm just gonna keep with these names. Last time I named them after Game Grumps, but this time I don't really care, so I'm just going to keep the people. I'm going to be a banker, by the way. Okay, so we end up with $1,600. So you buy pretty much like half of what you would normally. So I guess 30. That doesn't work. There we go. 50 bucks of bullets. 3, 3, and 3, because you always want spare parts, because if something happens with a part and you can't repair it, then you're basically fucked if you're out in the middle of the wilderness. So I kind of want to start in April. It will start getting really hot. You don't want it, like, okay, for the starting date, it's kind of hard to pick, because if you start in March, you're getting the tail end of winter, and things like snow, impassable things because of blizzards and things like that, cold ass temperatures. But if you leave at the end of August, you get the same kind of thing. You get winter throughout. So August, September, October, November, December, you get cold weather. So if you leave too late, though, then you get the really hot summers. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I always usually leave around March, because that gives us 6 months to get to Oregon before like the weather starts fucking us up too much. Okay, so we are in Independence, Missouri now. I think I turned the music off, if there was music. The deluxe version, because this is not actually the version that I had as a kid. The version that I had as a kid had music, and the graphics were a little bit better. So, like, there would be music, trail music here. So let me see. Because it doesn't give you quit dots, exit, save game. It doesn't give you option to put music in. So they don't have music in this particular game. But there was music, and there was like songs. Every time you hit a landmark, there was some sort of song. So it's kind of sucky that there's no song on this one, or music. But they're probably all copyright anyway, so it would probably be flagged for being having copyright music. Because one of the songs is like, on top of Old Smoky, all covered with snow, and that's like a really, really old ass song, but it probably would still cause a problem. with the copyright. So I'll have to insert some royalty-free music in here. So you'll probably be hearing like really soft music in the background. But I remember playing this game, and the anytime there was like bad water, no water, whatever, there was like a thing that goes dun dun dun, and then there was like doo doo doo, or no, it was like doo 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 doo, if you found something useful like clothing or fresh fruit or something. So it is kind of boring that there's no music on this one, but it's an emulation. Oh no! Well, that's just kind of fucked up. Okay. Rag and Tip, fortunately, nobody was injured, and you recovered all your supplies. Good. Because usually when something like that happens, people die and you lose all your shit. So luckily we were able to get through that with... I mean, there's no choice. You either cock the wagon and float it, or you ford it. So it didn't matter like which one did you if you choose or not. So that's kind of fucked. Before we get to the fort, though, and these things here were like way more decorated. Like this is just a plain green grass field. You used to be able to have like some sort of texture, so it was. And then there was sounds. I mean, there's like no sounds whatsoever in this game, so I don't know why there's no sound, but it is kind of boring, to be honest. But anyway, so I was saying about the Oregon Trail too. I wish that I could find a working emulation of it. That and or Amazon Trail too. Those ones kind of came after the DOS era. They were like in the mid 90s. So I think DOS was kind of working its way out, and it was a CD-ROM instead of like a disc or whatever. So, I mean, CD discs have been like around forever, but this game is like really old. This is like beginning 90s or something. I think Oregon Trail, I'm not quite sure about Oregon Trail 2, but I think Amazon Trail 2 was like 95. Still like over 20 years old, but I have an actual version of Amazon Trail 2. It's up there, but since it's an old game, this is not compatible with this computer, so this computer or that computer, and it sucks because Amazon Trail 2 and what I've played of Oregon Trail 2 are like much more realistic. So, like, the Amazon Trail and the Oregon Trail, they're all pixelated. They're all, like, 8-bit kind of stuff. The Amazon Trails and the Amazon Trail 2 and Oregon Trail 2 kind of use, like, real people. They just impose them into the game. So you have, like, real people talking. You have kind of, like, more realistic-looking stuff. So it's more, you know, realistic to enjoy. So when I was younger and I went to school, they had Oregon Trail 2, and it was, for my age, it seemed really complicated. Instead of just buying all your shit at one place like in this game, you had to go to multiple places. So you had to go to the livery or however you want to pronounce it, and you had to go to the blacksmith, and you had to go to get your oxen, and you had to go and get your, clothing and food and stuff like that at all different stores. So you had to go through this whole town, like, of Independence, go into these buildings, talk to these people, get your supplies, and it wouldn't let you leave the town until you got all your supplies. So if you, like, missed like one person, you had to find that person and go back to them and say, okay, this is what I need. So it made you go to separate places to get your supplies. And then once you did that, I mean, once I finally figured that out, then you got to go out and travel the trail, and then you get to talk to real people. And with the Amazon Trail too, it was kind of the same deal, except for you go into this like marketplace kind of thing in the Amazon, Brazil, and you get to talk to this guy behind a counter, and there's like guides. There's 4 different guides you can choose from. One's a doctor, one's just a really good guide, and then I forgot what the other 2 were, but they're all, you can choose which guide you want, and then they have like 4 package. The guy always was like, headed up the Amazon, you'll need some supplies. It's like behind me on the wall, you can choose from 4 package deals, and so it's like there's 4 different packages of supplies, and each one has a different amount of things, but it all has like harpoons and tents and all that kind of stuff, and food. And then you pick which one you want, and then you head on down the Amazon. And then each time you go to a new place, like there's this mist, and you go talk to people, but they're real people. They're just imposed on it's a green screen, and then you impose them into the game. So it was kind of like, it was really funny how they did it. But for that, it was really good technology for that time period, to have actually like real people talking in a game. So that was kind of cool. But now, I mean, it's like silly because there's so much technology nowadays. But I would play the game, and they use actors or whatever to do the characters. So you have like, my favorite one is Lupe Diaguirre, and he's all like, it's a real guy, and you go up to him and he's all like, what do you have for me to take? Like, he doesn't barter, because you usually talk to people and you trade. In the original game of Amazon Trail, you had to find Shoshona to help the king's people, and then after you get Shoshona, then you're supposed to get like a butterfly or whatever else the panther says, and you continually buy things, and then as you progress, you're continually supposed to trade and talk to people and all that. So when you get to this guy, the Lupe de Aguirre, he comes in and he goes, I do not trade, I take. And so you can get rid of all your shit, because he'll take all your shit. So like the clue to try and get rid of Lupe de Aguirre is during one of the previous, because essentially you're going to a different time and a different place, and a different place in time when you go through the mist. So like you're meeting like Henry Ford, and you're meeting Teddy Roosevelt, and all that kind of stuff. So it's historical and like geographical and nature-y and stuff like that. But when you meet Lupe de Aguirre, he's taking all your stuff. He won't stop until he takes all your shit, or you learn the way to get rid of him. The way to get rid of him is, I mean, I'm like giving you like spoilers to a game that's like over 20 years old, but you take there's this medicine that this guy gives you in a previous time. You listen to a story. I don't remember if it's the fish story or the other one, but either way, you listen to a story, and he goes, thank you for listening to my story, here's this. And it's actually a medicine that he gives you, and it's like you take the tiniest bit and it's supposed to cure whatever, but if you eat the whole thing, it's poisonous and it will kill you. So when you go to Lupe de Aguirre, you give him that, and you tell him that it's candy, and he eats it, and then he dies. So it's kind of morbid in a sense, but when the leopard or the panther guy comes back, he goes, sometimes it's necessary to do something like that, to people that are really, really bad. So, I mean, even though it's like really not a good thing to kill humans, he says it's okay because sometimes you have to do that. So he kind of like, he says it's okay, so it kind of makes it better, I guess. But it's like a really cool game. I mean, for like the longest time, I could never get really past Lupe Diaguirre. Like, I'd either get lost or I would die because I would get sick or something. So I would end up having to start over or start from like a past save and keep going. When I got to the end, I was like, cool, you know, it's a lengthy game. I mean, this one's pretty short. I mean, we're almost halfway there, or a little over halfway. We can finish this like in one episode. But Amazon Trail 1 and 2 are both lengthy. So if I ever did find a version of Oregon Trail to play, or either Oregon Trail 2 or Amazon Trail 2, if I can ever find a version of that to play on either an emulator or some way, I would gladly play the second version of these games, because they're a little bit more realistic and they're a little bit more graphic. They're better graphics for those kind of games, and Amazon Trail is basically this almost exact same setup as the regular Amazon Trail. The only difference is you are in a better game. Essentially, it's a better game, and you have, you know, a person that you're talking to on a regular basis, and it's the same like set of people. Like when you go through the Amazon Trail, the regular Amazon Trail, you have like Teddy Roosevelt, Henry Ford. You have all these people that are in Amazon Trail. You have the same people in Amazon Trail 2. You just have them in with real people as the actors instead of pixels on a screen that are animated. Not that there's anything wrong with animated pixels. It's just, you know, that was what they were able to do. I mean, this is back in the early 90s or late 80s. So, I think early 90s. So it was like a step up to have actual like real video, you know, and people talking. I mean, it's like really bad quality now, but what would be cool is like, I mean, I know they made umpteen million versions of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, or Where in the USA is Carmen Sandiego. So I know they made like a bunch of versions of that as the years progressed. What would be cool though is to actually have like a more updated version of Amazon Trail and Oregon Trail. I mean, I know they have like apps that are like Oregon Trail, or an app that's Oregon Trail, but it's not really Oregon Trail. It's like, it's a stupid, I mean, not knocking the app because I'm sure it's fine, but it's more like one of those town building things. So you're finished with the Oregon Trail and now you're settling. I mean, like an actual Oregon Trail. There was something that I found somewhere. I don't remember if it's like an actual tour, like a real life tour, or if it's like a visual tour. But they actually went through the whole Oregon Trail and like real life Oregon Trail. They went through what the trail would be. I mean, now it would be kind of hard because I'm sure there's stuff there. Like, it's not just all, you know, grassy lands and, you know, empty fields and, you know, expansive land masses. I mean, I'm sure there's like buildings and freeways and all that kind of stuff there now, unless they preserved it because it's the actual trail that people took, which is possible. I'm not actually sure about that, if they preserved the actual Oregon Trail or not. But for whatever it was, if it was either like a visual tour, like like you can go through the Amazon Oregon Trail online or whatever, which I think would be kind of cool. But for a game to be like an actual game to play, I think it would be like more interesting if they took the Oregon Trail and the Amazon Trail and updated it to be more modern. So like you go through, and for like the Oregon Trail you can go through and have, you know, picking out the supplies like you do in the one game, but have it be more like kind of like an MMO setting, to where like you can go to the different places and get your supplies, and then you could be like sitting in the Oregon, sitting in the actual thing that just escaped my mind. The wagon. There we go. Brain fart. But like your person is actually sitting in a wagon and, you know, seeing it from the perspective of somebody who's actually on the wagon, you know, that kind of thing. That would be kind of cool. And then you could go and hunt for stuff and have it be like a first person shooter kind of thing. I mean, it just endless possibilities. I mean, I know it would be kind of a lame idea to make one now because it's so old and people are more like into other things. But I still think, personally for me, it'd be like a really fun idea to have an actual remake of the two games. Not to change it too dramatically. I mean, this is boring. I mean, me talking over this playing, I mean, it's not exactly like thrilling. I mean, it's not an MMO or dream date or daddy dating or whatever. So it is kind of boring to see this being played again. But I still really think that they should make an updated version. I mean, even for the older people, like for my generation, to enjoy at all. Like, if it's just for us, that'd be fine. Because there's a lot of us old people that grew up in the 90s that would probably love a remake. So, I think that would be cool. But anyway, that's just me, I guess, maybe. If you think that doing a remake of either the Oregon Trail or the Amazon Trail would be cool, I mean, it's kind of funny how they make the Oregon Trail, if they did make a remake, it would be kind of like a remake of this right here, like just with, I don't know, today's technology, but it would still be like essentially this. It would just be us, you know, sitting on a flat screen, just to be nostalgic. But to be nostalgic, I mean, we already have nostalgic stuff. We could just go back to the original game. That's nostalgic. I mean, this here is nostalgia. Nostalgia. Come on, die. No, you don't want to die? Can I just take this guy down then? Playing this game itself is nostalgic. So, making a game the same way, essentially, just with like maybe better graphics, but still 8-bit graphics, it would just be like, okay, well, they just took the game that we were playing and just remade it to look exactly the same as it did. I'm looking for something that's more like, take what 3D abilities that we have to make things look realistic and make an actual freaking realistic, more realistic Amazon Trail, Oregon Trail. It would be great, especially the Amazon Trail. It'd be great for like science and biology and stuff, because you would actually have the plants and animals there looking like real plants and animals. So I mean, of course you wouldn't be like going and touching them and I mean, not the animals anyway, but you're taking pictures of them and you have the animals right there and you can see them and you can see the plants. It'd be so great. Like, take like the forest, you know, the game with the plane crash and the people that are trying to kill you. Take that kind of graphics or whatever and make it an Amazon Trail game. And that would be awesome. And educational. Because there's not really a lot of educational games. I mean, for the younger kids, I guess there might be still games out there, but there's still not the same kind of quality of games that we had. I mean, our games were fun, but they were also like secretly educational. Like, you could learn something by having fun. So like, you're having fun on Amazon Trail or Oregon Trail, but you don't really know that you're learning something until you're like, oh, you know, you're pulling that information out of your head later. It's like, hey, I learned that on this game here. But when you come to the games now, from what I can tell, I mean, a lot of them are like the, you know, pew pew shoot 'em up games and, you know, first person shooters like Overwatch or whatever. And then you have the games that are just fighting and killing and doing quests and things like any MMO. But I haven't really looked into the games much that are for the younger generation of this year. But the ones that I have seen, I mean, for the people that are the kids that are out there now, it seems like we're making them dumber. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, but like, it just seems like people are stupider these days. Like, kids are way more, I mean, they have the cell phones and the iPads and all that stuff. I never had those when I was a kid. I barely had a computer when I was a kid. I didn't get the computer until way after, you know, a while. I need to trade. I don't need to talk to you. I need food. 200 sets of food, please. For 200 parts for sure, whatever. Okay, that gives us enough food to at least hopefully get to another spot where, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but if I can find some food. Because, I mean, I know this is going over time, but I didn't think it would be, like, too interesting to keep, cut this in half like I did the last time. I'm just going straight through. If we die, we die. If we live, then we live. So far, like, most of my people are dying, or not dying, but are sick. Zeke was suffering from exhaustion, but now he's okay. But Sarah has measles. See, before, or on the deluxe version of this game, all these things here, the purple text would pop up as an additional pop-up and would say bad water, or the trail is impassable, Sarah has the measles. It would pop up and say that, and if somebody died, it would tell you. So I don't even know if all my people are still alive. Poor. So yeah, pretty much. Just go to the Dallies. So we're almost done. We're almost to the end. This version of Oregon Trail is super fast. Like, it seems like it just goes by like that. That's why when I was kind of like hesitant to do it in 2 parts last time. But I'm just doing it all in one go because it seems silly to do it in 2 different parts. But the deluxe version seems to go a whole lot slower. I mean, I'm sure you can make the pace faster or slower depending on how quickly you want to do the game. But that particular game seems like it's a whole lot more time consuming than this one, because it seems like I would be here for like an hour or so playing this game instead of just a couple minutes. I mean, it's technically like half an hour that I'm playing this, but cut down it'll probably be a lot less. So hopefully we can get to the river and not have to worry about too much food. Why is everybody getting sick? It just sucks. I'm gonna have to hunt some more. Hopefully we didn't deplete the source of food over here. Because when you hunt in one spot too long, it will say the food is getting scarce in this area, you need to move on or whatever. And you can just go a couple miles and hunt again and be fine. Well, there's like a lot of ground squirrels, or I think they're supposed to be prairie dogs. But like all the graphics pretty much the same. You know, like the motion of the animals and stuff. Those are all the same. It just the graphics of like this just changed from like a bright green to like a yellower green. They actually made like maps that were more indigenous to where location you were in. So it wasn't just the same as this. It wasn't like the same map each time. They got a little creative. And there was geese and ducks. You can hunt also. I don't want to do that. Never mind. But there's geese and ducks that you can hunt. The ducks are a little bit harder because they just like go zoom across the screen, but the geese are a little bit easier to hunt. So, but that's usually like if you leave towards March, like it's like at the tail end of March, you can usually get the geese at Independence, and then you don't see them again until towards fall. So we're in September now, and we are just about to reach the Dales. I don't know how you pronounce that. The river that sends us down to Oregon, or up to Oregon, or whatever it is. I think it's up. We're going up. Okay, so now we can take the Barlow Toll Road or float down the river. Okay, we're going down the river then. Okay, so that's no big deal. So we just have to avoid the rocks, and then we'll be good. And then we'll be at the end of our journey. But there seemed like to be like a lot, like I said, a lot more to the deluxe version of this game, because it seemed to take a whole lot longer, and there was like, I don't know, it just seemed to take longer. I mean, it's the same trek, but it just seemed to take longer. Maybe it's just because they had the pace so slow or something, maybe. I really don't know. But it just seemed to take a whole lot longer. And this part, I remember it, but I mean, it had sounds to it, like water sounds. Like if you moved, it made a noise, and it had a consistent shing motion. And if you moved the paddle, it made a stuff. So yeah, and we made it to the Willamette Valley, and our score is 2295, which is larger than the one that we had last time, because it was only like 1600 last time, I think. Awesome. So that's the Oregon Trail again. So hopefully it wasn't too boring for you. Thanks so much for watching the Oregon Trail again. If you enjoyed this old DOS game, leave a like and share with your friends. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you do that. There's links to all of those in the description or on the front page, where you can also subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. But if you go over here, there'll be a video that YouTube suggested you check out. My face will be here. You can click on that to go to subscribe, and over here will be my link to the merchandise store, a Spreadshirt, where you can get a t-shirt or a tote bag with my mascot on it. And that's going to be it for today, folks. Sorry the video ran a little bit long, but we had a trail to track and see if we can win. Death seemed a whole lot more prominent in the other version, because I remember like a lot of people dying, and I mean, getting sick, yeah, but a lot of people dying, and sometimes me dying and not making it. And then if you don't make it, you leave like an epitaph on your gravestone, and then when you travel the trail again, you can see your gravestone from the past game on the trail, which was kind of morbid also, but whatever. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.